And welcome back to this Photoshop lesson, building off our previous exercise with working with layers, cutting layers into new layers, bringing in or placing objects, putting on things like a glow, a stroke, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a shadow to kind of create the illusion of this kind of hovering, and we're going to put it right here on this little piazza floor. And then we're going to do a few other things as well, including bringing in shapes and text and things like that, either in this video or a subsequent video. So let me continue working with this particular object. You can see when I click on it, it gets selected, and I'm going to double click on this word effects, and that's going to take me to my effects panel automatically since I already have one. So there you go, that puts it on there. And you'll see I have a number of different effects I can put on there. What I'd like to do is put on a drop shadow. And you'll notice that a little shadow appears here. And that doesn't really do what I want it to do, because I want to look like, you know, the shadow is being cast from way above. So therefore, it looks like it's just kind of about to come down. So when I click on the drop shadow options, you will see that I get a number of options over here. So lots to work with here. So number one, I might want to work with the opacity, like how clear is that shadow going to be, right? So how translucent is it going to be? So you can see it goes away or it gets very dark. I want it to be a shadow probably somewhere about halfway to 3/4. Now let's play around a little bit with the angle. So if you can see, this essentially is like which angle is the sun coming from, so therefore which angle is the shadow being cast on. So this might be something you play around with a little bit. And notice I can also use my keyboard. I'm actually using the arrows to do this on my keyboard. And then what I'd like to do is now adjust the distance of this. So as I keep going like this and this and this, because it's coming down to 12 o'clock, this comes down just like that. And I'm actually using my little scroll wheel on my mouse to do a little tiny increments. And that's about perfect. But I'd like to make it even more translucent, less opaque that is. So it looks a little more like a shadow. Let's come over here to the spread. And you're going to see what that's going to do. Do you want it to be like very sort of defined, or you want it to be a little more kind of like diffuse like that? And then let's work with the size of it, and that really kind of spreads it out. So it's like, okay, what kind of time of day is it? How much do you want it to be pronounced on there? You know, so let me just bring that up a little bit more. Okay, so now let's take a look at that, and that looks pretty cool. And let me go ahead and click OK, and you'll see that as I resize this, my shadow also increases. Okay, so they're one and the same. So if I actually click on the eyeball there, you will see that goes away. So sometimes you might want it, sometimes you don't. And yeah, that's that. That's working with that. And then again, from the previous video, I was working with the flying saucer to do this outer glow. If I wanted to adjust that outer glow, I can very easily work on that by double clicking on it. And there's all my information. Okay, so let's go ahead and now bring in his wife over here. So when I say bring in, I'm going to say place. I'm going to say place embedded. And there she is. And if you've watched from another video, you will see how I get rid of this very easily. I go over here to my magic wand tool. I'm going to right click on that. Magic wand tool is going to select all the white because I just clicked on the white. Hit delete, but oh, guess what? I can't do it. So if any of you watched from my previous video, you will see that you can't do it because it's a smart object. So I'm going to go and click OK, right click on this and say rasterize layer. Now I can hit delete and get rid of it. Okay, so really important thing to note when you are importing things. So let me go ahead and deselect and now select this pretty little lady here, move her around, and now there she is, talking to her friend the pterodactyl. And why is this happening? Because of the layer order, okay? So very important to understand that, okay? So if I want her right in front of him, you can see what's going to happen there. So understanding how layers work is very important. In this next lesson, I'm going to do kind of a little bit more complete lesson about some of these things here. I've already done a few lessons on adjustment layers, a little bit on this. Some subsequent lessons I'm going to talk about masking, even though I've already done a few on adjustment layers and masking. This is going to be on just pure masking and a few other things. All right, so this is about layers. This is about working with layer effects and then adjusting them, including working with shadows. And in the next video, I'm going to go a little bit further, working with text, shapes, and a few other things. So stay tuned for the next video. Dave Casuto, SF Tech Training. Feel free to subscribe. Find me on my website, LinkedIn, YouTube channel, all that good stuff. Talk to you soon.